Welcome to HugeOden's Gamer News and more tonight. I am Odin Atkins, and let's get into today's headlines as we go over all the things that has happened today. Alright, so our first news story of the day involves Roblox, and today they were featured on the news today, this time in the state of North Carolina, regarding the children's online safety that they're going on with. As it seems like Roblox stuttered when they tried to make a comment on it, the question that said, "Is your platform safe?" As of course they don't know an answer to that because now they were on the news for North Carolina, which means North Carolina citizens across the state now know about the dangers of Roblox. So, and there has been people reaching out to the Attorney General of the state of North Carolina regarding Roblox's issues. So, there could be a chance that the entire state of North Carolina could be the next state to sue Roblox. There will be a follow-up to this if this does actually happen. Because in the news article they talked about how Roblox had these safety features like this new parental feature where people can set their child's online experiences to whatever they wanted to play. That's what they featured. That's one of the things that was in the news article. We already know that wasn't too much of a helper at all. And the second feature that they talked about inside that video was their new AI age estimation tool. However, what the news article or the news channel failed to cover is that the AI is failing. It is not working. It is getting people's ages wrong. And I want people to be aware of that because some kids were marked as adults and some adults were marked as kids. That completely gets rid of the purpose of AI age estimation, because the whole purpose was to keep kids off of adult content, and that is definitely not what's going on. So, and what this really is what, at least what one other YouTuber said, was that this was a stunt to where if something bad happens to a minor on the platform, that it was going to be considered not Roblox's fault, as the age AI verified it, which I want to call bullcrap on that. It's your problem because your AI isn't working, is what it should be. So, alright, let's move on to the next story. The next story here tonight is probably the biggest storyline that you will see in the last 5 to 10 years, maybe even 20 years. We have a fourth console joining the console wars. There are now, once again, 4 different consoles battling against each other in a quad console war. It is now Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and now Steam. As Steam has just announced that they are coming out with a console coming out next year in 2026 called the Steam Machine. And this one is big because they made some pretty interesting promises so far. First off, they said that you're going to be able to play your entire Steam library, plus Steam exclusives, PlayStation exclusives, and Xbox exclusives. This could be the console killer if this console succeeds. Depending on the pricing, we don't know how much it costs yet. But the Steam community said this was going to be a console aimed for the entry-level console market. There are 2 types of, for those who don't know what that means, is there's 2 types of devices. You got standard and entry-level. Entry-level devices are the lower class devices, but they are for new players. And they're for new people, and it should be more affordable than your traditional standard console. For example, my Xbox Series X. I'm pretty sure that's a standard. The entry-level version of that console is the Xbox Series S, even though that is overpriced as well. Now that brings up pricing. If the price of this is low enough, Xbox and PlayStation would have to make changes to their, especially Xbox, would have to make changes to the pricing on how they work things. And they might have to get rid of that 30% profit margin. Because if the Steam machine is cheap, it will be a console killer. Why buy the new generation of Xbox if you can just buy the Steam machine and be able to play Xbox exclusives, PlayStation exclusives, and even Steam exclusives. Steam is now going to have their own exclusives on here. I know we've reached the age. I thought we reached the age of the end of exclusives, but it turns out Steam might have some exclusives, which is going to be interesting. Now, the only questions are, is there going to be support for other storefronts like Epic Games Store? Because that's where Fortnite's on. Well, that's yet to be decided. We will follow up with more on this topic when more news articles regarding Steam come out. So yeah, as of right now, there's really not much going on with the Steam machine other than the announcement of the console. We actually can see here what it looks like too. I'm surprised. They must have been developing this for a while now, and they just now told us that they were releasing a console. So not only do they have a mobile handheld called the Steam Deck, which is actually a good device, they're now introducing a console, their own console. Now, the main question is, who is going to win the console wars? Well, the console wars, again, for this new generation, technically already started, because Nintendo has already released their console for this generation, called this Nintendo Switch 2. And it looks like the Steam machine is going to be next. And when Steam makes their official trailer for this, I hope they use Daft Punk's song called Steam, because there actually is parts of that song that say Steam machine. So let's cross your fingers they use that song. So yeah, that's probably the biggest headline in 10 years, because Sega was the last time we had 4 consoles in the console wars, with the Dreamcast being the last one released before ending up discontinuing making consoles. I cannot believe we have 4 in the console market now. It's the first time in a while that we do. So I might consider buying one if the price is affordable. So yeah. All right, let's move on to the next headline. All right, this next segment is regarding Fortnite, and there's a few things happening. There's a bunch of upcoming news on the game of Fortnite, as there's a lot of things changing, and there's been some leaks as well. While you're wondering why you're looking at this picture right here, well, all 3 of these parts of this image, which includes the desert theme, obviously Tyler, the Creator, and Fortnite Reload, all of them have something to do with today's news. First off, let's talk about the back. Tyler, the Creator. Tyler, the Creator will be releasing in tomorrow's item shop, unless if you're watching this a day late. But it's going to be releasing during the wave of the 14th of November, around I don't think it's 8 p.m. Eastern time now, because it's standard time. And alongside that, Tyler, the Creator, will officially release into Fortnite. And then you guys can buy maybe whatever stuff you want from his locker. So yeah, that's going to be the first part. The second part is regarding Fortnite Reload. Let me just do a quick fact check real quick. But Fortnite Reload is going to be having a special event coming up, which is going to be, I think, starting on the 18th, if I remember correctly. And there's going to be what's called modifiers coming to games, and I think it's only going to be with specific maps, maybe. But these modifiers are pretty crazy because one basically adds lava to the game, where you have to build to try to survive the lava. I'm guessing it's rising lava. I don't know. It might be. The second is that the second one is that the storm never closes. That's another modifier that can be put in the game. And then the third modifier is the slurp pools that are going to be everywhere. So, yeah, those are the modifiers. They're going to be in there's going to be 4 different parts. One with the first 3 parts is going to be solely going to be one of each of those parts, and it's only going to be paired up with one particular map as well. But the fourth part is going to be all 3. This event lasts throughout throughout the majority of November, so feel free to play some Reload during that time. I'm not sure if this is going to be available in ranked or not. If it is, it's going to change a lot on how you rank up. And the third thing, why is there a desert in the background, you may ask? Well, that is because Chapter 7 has been leaked to be a southwestern themed chapter based off of Southwest United States. As they have confirmed that there's going to be sections from 4 states in the United States: California, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. And there's going to be POIs that look similar to actual cities from those 4 states, but with a little twist to avoid copyright. So it's very interesting to see what they will come up with that. Honestly, I want to hope for the future, with another future chapter, that they do Eastern U.S. as well, because I think Washington, D.C. deserves to be in Fortnite at this point. But I think they would have to put, we're talking about Fortnite right now, not in the future. But the desert is obviously going to be on the map, considering it is a desert themed map. I'm guessing, I don't know if it's 100% desert, because I know California is not 100% desert, or really none of the states are. It's just that a lot of the parts of it is. So now the only question is about that is, last time they had a desert theme map, it was Fortnite Reload Oasis, and that is everyone's least favorite Reload map. I'm hoping this map doesn't deter people away from playing Fortnite. So I think this desert theme might work well if they actually execute it correctly. Now, I'm not from the western region of the United States, and I've never been to any of the 4 states that Fortnite's Chapter 7 is going to be built on. But I can safely say it's going to be interesting, because when you look at the history of those 4 states, the climate there gets really hot, especially Arizona. So, to be honest with you, the only thing they should have added, I wish they actually put Colorado and New Mexico in there as well. I would like to have a mountainous POI with snow on top from the Colorado side, but That's fine. We got California, we got Utah, we got Arizona, um we got Nevada. Nevada's got a gambling kind of vibe. So let's talk about the cities that are reside in each of those four states. Um Starting with the smallest one, which is Utah, which they have what's their city? What is that city called? Um, I want to remember what it's called. It is called. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's Utah's got Salt Lake City, and I think what. Let me check real quick what it looks like because I don't know too much about this city, but Salt Lake is Utah is known for I think part of the Yellowstone National Park. So I think if they can execute the National Yellowstone Park and put those actual pools, it would be great. But the problem is though, they would have to have the pools do damage because in real life, these pools actually are very hot and will hurt you. It has actually claimed the lives of a man and a dog once. So don't go into these pools in real life, please. Um, I think there's like some form of chemical that was in the water. I don't know what it is, but um, Utah, I think, would be a good choice. Like Utah's also got some canyons as well, but we'll get into that later. Um, I think it's um, I think it's going to be great because those sulfuric pools might look good. Um, and I think they actually are also it's I mean all four states inside this upcoming season have the Grand Canyon in it in some way. I think because of the Colorado River. But that resides mostly in Arizona though. But but the Grand Canyon is mainly in Arizona, and Arizona is going to be the next state we talk about. Arizona is the hottest place on Earth, or I'm kidding, it's not the hottest place on Earth, but Arizona is home to the Grand Canyon. I just want to make that correction right here before I get killed by American historians. Um, if you really think about this, is the Grand Canyon coming to Fortnite? I certainly hope so, because a lot of people think the desert theme map could be like Oasis, but no, you gotta think deeper than that. If it's based off of Americas, you gotta expect places like the Grand Canyon and all those sulfuric pools from Utah coming to the game. There's a reason why Salt Lake City is called Salt Lake City. And I think that would be cool. Now, for Arizona, they are home to a city called Phoenix. It used to be they used to have a team in all four major sports in the U.S. Well, I guess there's five now, but they now have teams in three of them because they lost the Arizona Coyotes. But Arizona is such a cool state when it comes to their attractions. They got the Grand Canyon. It does get a little hot there, but the landscape there is pretty cool. They got cactuses. I mean, I think all 4 states have cactuses, but they have a couple of little rocks and stuff as well. It's relatively, the Phoenix area is relatively flat though. Next up, we're going to talk about Nevada. This one is quite a big one because this is home to a city called Las Vegas, and this is the biggest gambling city in the world. And or maybe the country. I don't know about the world, but it could be the world. Nevada is home to all kinds of parks. There are normal green forests in Nevada, so it's not 100% desert there. I think Nevada's got some of the coolest patterns. Nevada has what's called Lake Mead as well, which could be implanted into Fortnite because this is one of the biggest water sources to the people there. So I feel like they should put Lake Mead into that. I think that'd be great to see into Fortnite. There's also Spring Mountain Park, which is a spectacular red rock formations. And there's even the Great Basin National Park, which has some of the coolest looking trees you can ever see. So I feel like that would be cool looking too. And then the final state we can talk about here is California. Now, in real life, I do not like California because of their government, but we're not going to talk about that here. We're talking about the scenery instead. Because we want to see how Fortnite can implant California into their game. California is the only state that is going to be in Fortnite that actually borders the Pacific Ocean in real life. Which means there's going to be some Pacific Ocean references, hopefully. Now, I've only been to the Pacific Ocean once, but however, not in the California area, so I won't be able to use my eyes, because the only time I've been to around the Pacific Ocean was in the state of Washington, and that is not in Fortnite's reach. Although they probably should have put both Oregon and Washington, because I would like to see those types of forests, and maybe even British Columbia as well. But again, they just picked those 4 states. I think California is home to Los Angeles. It's got a lot of palm trees there. It's also home to San Diego, which is a harbor city, a really good one, in fact. They're also home to Oakland, but Oakland's not that relevant anymore. It used to be when they had like 2 major sports teams, but they all left because of all the bull crap there, and they wanted money. And now hopefully again these 4 states can collab to make probably one of the coolest Fortnite chapters we can ever see. And it's the first time America has been really represented this much in Fortnite. I mean, last 2 chapters ago was Europe. Then the chapter before that, then the chapter 6 was Japan. Or at least Asia in general, but now it looks like it's going to be an American-themed chapter. It's the first one that we've gotten since, I want to say, Chapter 3. because technically Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3 were all technically American styled because of the buildings there. But it seems like Chapter 7 is going to be American again, but a different type of American. Because again, I want to point out that every state is different. Not every state is the same. Most of the Fortnite chapters we've had were like your basic, I want to say Eastern American, because again, Fortnite's located in North Carolina. However, Epic Games used to be located in Maryland, where I'm from. So they probably have a lot of experience when it comes to what buildings look like where I live. So that's why the first 3 chapters were like that. But this type of American is different, and I think this segment's been going on for too long. So let's move on to the next segment. The next segment features PlayStation, and this one is quite interesting because this is what like I said before, this story made me think that the console exclusive war was over until the Steam machine got revealed. But Halo Combat Evolved got a remake, or it's getting a remake, and it is going to be released on PlayStation for the first time ever. Now, notice on the original game how it says on the top of the screen here, only on Xbox. Well, they broke that promise for sure. But who cares? Who really cares? Because in this age, I don't even think PlayStation or Xbox are going to be the biggest rivals of each other anymore. Because the new Steam machine, if the promises that are true, I forgot to mention this during the Steam machine segment. Steam machine is offering free online multiplayer, which means we're going back to an age that haven't been at since the early PS3 age and original Xbox age. So it's going to be really interesting to see how really all 3 PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo respond to this change, because that could be a big factor. It could save people hundreds of dollars a year because you don't have to pay for online multiplayer anymore. Now it's unheard if what Steam's gonna be like, or this Steam console is gonna be like. I know Xbox's next console that's coming out in 2027 is going to feature multi-generational stuff, as well as access to Steam and Epic Game Store. I don't know what Steam is going to include on theirs, but for PlayStation, it seems like they're going to start collabing with Xbox a little bit more, or at least Xbox is collabing with PlayStation, because I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe these 2 companies knew that this Steam console was coming out, and so maybe they're trying to work together to survive. I don't know. We don't know. There's too many unknowns in that. More will develop on the story later. So yeah, let's get to the next segment. Alright, this next story involves Minecraft, and this one is quite a little interesting. Minecraft apparently are under the radar making a new game, as Minecraft have soft launched a game called Minecraft Blast, which is actually a collaboration with both Minecraft and the creators of Candy Crush, in a new puzzle game, which you see in the background here is what it looks like, but I don't know, but no one knows what it's going to be like. We have no idea how this game is going to work yet, but let's just say if you like puzzle games, this might be, if you like both puzzle games and Minecraft, and you might want to give this game a try. This game is only available on iOS devices right now. Sorry, Android users. And it's only available in Malaysia. So if you live in Malaysia, tell me what you think of this game. And honestly, this could be another small little game. I don't expect this game to blow up in popularity because Block Blast is the most popular puzzle game right now. Even my brother plays it. So I'm not big into puzzle games. I don't really like puzzle games that much because they always frustrate me because of the hearts system. Hopefully they don't add hearts into this game. They probably will, knowing it's made by the devs of Candy Crush. So yeah, Minecraft Blast is now available in the App Store in Malaysia. So go ahead and give it a download if you are playing on iOS only. So yeah. All right, so this next segment, it's just a little something small. It's not too big, but it involves Xbox. They got free play days, which basically gives you a few days to play games for free as long as you have a active Minecraft or active Microsoft or Xbox subscription, because you just need Essential to play these. And the games they got, you got Train Sim World 6, which just released, I think. Soccer Story, that game is a little old now. Rubber Bandits, I don't know much about that. Wreckfest, I don't know much about that. But GTA Online is on here. So if you are on Xbox, you can temporarily play GTA for free. So if you notice a lot more people playing GTA, you know why. It's because of this, as it is temporarily free to play for all Xbox Game Pass users. So, however, if you want to play these games permanently, consider purchasing the game, as you will then be able to always be able to play whenever you want. And now we're going to get on to the news stories from countries. We got 2, so stick around for that. All right, this next story is quite a subject that has been going on for the last several months, but the Epstein files is back in the conversation once again. Immediately after the government shutdown ends, that chapter may have came to an end, but it starts another chapter between the groups, as there's going to be a vote in the House of Representatives next week to decide if the Epstein files are going to be released or not. Now, the White House wants to prevent this vote, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen at this point, as there's been emails that were sent out that from Jeffrey Epstein that referred to President Donald Trump. Now, this doesn't mean he's officially in the files. It just means that Jeffrey has messaged him, but GOP leaders are trying to prevent the Epstein files from being released, with the exception of a few House Republicans, as they actually are trying to get these Epstein files released. So that's why this is back into that's why this is back into a big news story, because some Republicans are now going against President Donald Trump right now when it comes to the Epstein files. Because, again, the White House does not want this to be released, while I'm pretty sure all the Democrats do, but only a few Republicans. Who knows if this will be enough, because I think it has to go through the Senate as well. Don't know if it's been through the Senate or not. Let me in fact check that first. Because it has to go through both places of Congress. As again, next week there's going to be a vote next week. So, yeah, this all started because I think the House reached a total of 218 signatures to force a floor vote on a bill to release the Epstein files within 30 days. Now, if it passes through the House, I believe it would then go to the Senate. If it passes the Senate, it would then go to President Donald Trump, who is likely going to veto it. And if it, which would then lead to Congress voting again, and if there is even more people than it was previously, or a large amount of people, aka bipartisan support, it would then veto Donald Trump's veto and release the files anyways. So that's how that's going to go. We'll see if so it's going to take a while, but this is where the Epstein files story of our government begins, I guess. We will follow up with updates as the week passes, as we'll probably see next week if the vote on the Epstein files goes through or not. We will continue to follow this story later on down the road. All right, let's move on to our 8th and final story of the night. All right, this news is about our northern friends from Canada. Canada is facing a couple of things right now. One of the bigger ones is that they are increasing their border security, as Prime Minister Carney has decided that he is going to increase the pay of workers among the Border Patrol for the first time since 2005 that this has last happened, to $525, I think. And they are also hiring a lot more Border Patrol workers as well. Alongside of that, there is also a couple of other things going on in Canada right now as well. As Canada reaches for an economic plan to be less reliant on the United States. This comes as the trade war between the U.S. and Canada continues. So, so that's going to be quite a battle. We'll see what happens with that. And another thing is that Canada has officially lost its measles elimination status, as measles is starting to spread in Canada. United States is soon to follow, though, as they're expected to not have that elimination status anymore. And yeah, that is that. And that's it. And that's going to be it for today's news. Tune in tomorrow, and we will see you guys next time.